Q&Asa. Game on daily.
Welcome to the world of Q&Asa, where I am running late, but that's not my fault. It's a dark day in the world of video games, thanks to many layoffs across many different places and all the rest of it, all those kind of downy things, but we still love the games and we're still going to talk about them. How's everybody doing today? This is Q&Asa. You are presumably here because you already know how all of this works. It's nice and simple. We have conversations happening. Hang on. Thanks FTW for, I'm assuming that's a membership thing. I've actually got the display all messed up because that's how I do things. It is FTW. Welcome to the badges. I thought you were already one, but I'll take it. Tom's fantastic. That's really good. He also called me a young man though, so now I can't trust anything that he says. You have to renew manually. Okay, so you were already a member. You just have to manually renew it every time. Fair enough. Well, I appreciate it every time. So that's awesome. And it lets people see the fancy alerts, right? Eradication, I'm brilliant. Thank you. How are you? This show is a conversation. It goes back and forth. So I talk, you can talk to me, you can talk to each other. And we all just have a big conversation. And it's usually a really good time, which is why even though there's a new podcast launching next Thursday, this show will continue, but on a Wednesday as of next week. That's one of many changes that I'll get into a bit later. For now, let's talk about how this works. Conversation, back and forth. You talk, I talk, you talk to each other. It's all going on. And the conversation goes where the conversation goes. If that's not good enough for you and you must have your voice heard, you can always throw the old super chats around and support all the weird things that I'm doing with the channel at the moment. Yep, there's no minimum price for those these days. I've mended my ways and become a better, more greedy person. You can also, obviously, hop onto Discord. So there's a Discord link in the description, probably, if I did it right. You're very welcome to jump into the little waiting room on the... Thank you, Pete, for the gifted membership as well. You're very welcome to jump into the waiting room queues on Discord. I'm distracted by all the sparkles. I'm distracted. It's good. You can pop in a little waiting room there and you can come on for a couple of minutes, have a little chat just for a couple of minutes, and then I'll shift you along and move it over. But it's an option. Come and talk to me, talk to the world. Real Island Gaming, what's up for you as well? I don't think I've seen your name here before. I could be wrong, but you're very welcome. There's more options than that. There's usually like 5-6 options on how you can talk. And I've only remembered a couple of them today. There will be a YouTube Q&A box, which you are welcome to use as well. At the end of the show, we go through everything that's been put in there. Even the things that Tony puts in there, which... yeah. It's worse than it sounds. That's it. Let's get on with it. Let's start how we always start. Let's talk about some games. So I've spent a lot of time over the last week or two making things rather than playing games, making things for these podcasts that I was talking about, but I've been playing a little bit as well. What have I been playing? I've been streaming a bit, I've been playing a bit. I played Strider. Tony gifted me Strider because I also played Prince of Persia. So I played Prince of Persia on one of them days, maybe Friday, and I didn't enjoy it as much as most people enjoy it. I liked sliding. It lasted me about an hour of sliding and mashing before the Metroidvania started to wear thin on me and I started to get irritated. But I did all of that live, and Tony decided that I would much prefer Strider. There you go. Strider better, he's saying. So he gifted me Strider on Steam. He's a generous guy. He buys me Rum, he buys me Strider. And I played that as well, and he was correct. It's much more fun than Prince of Persia to me. Because I get to run around fucking everything up in that game, which is entertaining. So those are two things that I've played. None of you have played anything, apparently, which is disappointing. And not true, because I know you've been playing games. You've been playing Avatar. It's graphically mind-blowing on the 4090. Have you, Eradication, have you gone to the unobtainium settings that take a special launch command to unlock? I never did bother trying those, and it looks pretty stunning without, just on its ultra settings. No question prompt. No, that will appear at some point. Isla's been playing Minecraft and Stardew Valley, right? In fact, I didn't even know you had played much Minecraft. Are you playing Minecraft right now? Your name has reminded me I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 as well. So that's still ongoing. That should be tomorrow, I hope. We get to play some Baldur's Gate 3. Dave Mack votes to kick Tony in the bees, which... I mean, I didn't call a vote on that, but if the people want it, make it happen. You're cooking mushroom dogs right now. Painful Discourse, you played a bit of Halo. Did I play Halo? Did we end up playing Halo on Sunday? It was so long ago. And FTW, I know you've been on Civ 5. Can I ask, why is it Civ 5 and not 6? I'm not up on the Civilization series, and I don't actually know. Did Civilization 6 do something heinous? Did it ruin everything that people loved about Civ 5? And Red Dead Redemption 2 is still on my list. And all of them Batman games. Oh, now so many games. So many games. I'll get there. Tom, you played the end of Lies of P. So you finally beaten the last actual final boss. Good. Dead Cells, funnily enough, I went to install Dead Cells today, a couple of hours ago. I had my reasons for wanting to have a look at it. And it turns out I already had it installed on the Xbox, so it's there ready to play. I've never done that one. But it's the only game that people seem to hold in the same kind of roguelike high regard as Hades. And I have my doubts it can come close to Hades, but it sounds like a thing that I should try. Thumbnail. That's a question. Oh no, I wasn't going to stream Dead Cells. Maybe I'll stream Dead Cells. I don't know. We did Forza. Okay, we did Rocket League and Forza on Sunday. So we'll try and get some Halo in on this one if Foam Stars isn't out yet, right? Is the background Phil Spencer's office? And those are the employees that he allowed to stay in those tubes at the back there. Yeah. Brian, do you play Dead Cells on your phone during your recovery sessions? It's a fun way to kill some time. Oh, what's going on there? Alex, again, thank you for the continued subscription. You need to make sure that you link your YouTube account to your Discord account, because you're in Discord. You're not, no, I'm making things up. I think you've already done that, but thank you for sticking around with that. It is appreciated, even though you put strange words into my mouth at times. Castlevania DLC is awesome for Dead Cells. It's pixel art, which I'm not like massively keen on. It can be done well, but I mean to play it. I mean to find out if Dead Cells is a game that I like. But typically when people say that a roguelike is brilliant, I usually end up disagreeing. Like Rogue Legacy 2 was a roguelike that was supposed to be excellent, and I didn't like it much at all. So it isn't to say it's terrible, but it's not my genre. Like Metroidvanias, the reason that I didn't like Prince of Persia. Roguelikes and Metroidvanias have one thing in common, and that's recycling. And much as I can appreciate that it's very budget conscious, friendly way to make a game, it doesn't really appeal to me as a structure. FTW, you're not a huge fan of roguelikes. Liked Hades and Dead Cells and Returnal. Returnal is Returnal I didn't get along with. I wanted to. It feels really good to play, but it absolutely doesn't respect my time in the slightest from what I gather. A run on Returnal could take like 2 hours or something, and you could come away with absolutely nothing. So I didn't get far in that. I keep meaning to go back to it. There's like elements of it that I really like. It's strange words. Wait, I didn't say strange words. What do you mean, Pete? No euphemism here. And I'm not on top chat. I'm on every kind of chat. I'm on every kind of chat. FCW were gifted 5 by Dodge. Evening Replicant, how's it going? Top chat for Dick. What? What? I'm not sure what you're after, Isla. It's you're confusing me muchly. I'm on regular normal chat. I can see everything. League of Dog Ends is possibly what I called the stream on that one. I played League of Legends again for quite a lot of hours, like 3 hours with Gamsley. Gamsley's a good guy and he's a good player and he's very patient and very generous with his words while we play, but it is not my game. I didn't read your comment, Alex. I read absolutely every comment. You said, please give us a schedule and time for streams, and I'm absolutely going to. I was just pausing. I'll come back to that. I will come back to that, Alex. I know a schedule is not even just a good idea from your perspective. It would benefit me to set that and make sure people know where I am. No, Isla, I'm aware of that. I just don't know what you're talking about. It's very confusing. Gamsley is the devil. Don't let him fool you. Maybe Dave. Maybe Dave. I thought League of Legends was what you're upset with more so than Gamsley. I like MOBAs. I really want MOBAs to be a genre that I can get into and enjoy, but I'm not a fan of click to move. If League of Legends played more like Hades, I'd be like an absolute beast on that game because I'm good at Hades, but when it's click to move, I click around and move, and then when the action starts going off, I just lose where the cursor is, and I'm like, bollocks, I don't know how to move or aim anymore because the cursor's somewhere in all those particles. Episode 13 is here. Phew, what a relief. And he's got the Wii in there. Oh, Dodge gifted you Civ 5. Okay, that's where the 5 comes from. He gifted you Civ 5, so you've never played them until now and you've never played 6. So it's not that 6 is necessarily the devil's game. Just 5 is what you've got there to play. Fair. I think I'm going to start with either Age of Wonders 4 or Ara History Untold as my first 4X experience. Right. Give me more games that you've all been playing, because it's not just me. And I've not played that much this week. Like I say, I've been building, making all kinds of things. They are really exciting things, by the way. But I still had quite a list of games. I still managed to find time to chip away at things. Oh, World of Warcraft I'm still playing as well. Thank you, Dave Mack. I was surprised that no one had been willing to volunteer the fact that they've been playing Palworld. I know multiples of you have been playing it. Replicant, you play SWOTOR as well. I know you play World of Warcraft, but I saw you streaming in the Discord. And you only had the one action bar. I was very disappointed. Palworld, have I heard of it? Dave Mack, we're going to talk about Palworld in a little bit. I certainly have. Brainies, Palworld is the highlight. But you're starting on The Last of Us 2 and you're going to get into Tekken 8 tomorrow. Good points that those games are about too. Over 7 million. Apparently the over 7 million, it was Replicant that said this, I think. The over 7 million is not even counting the Xbox Game Pass stuff. That's just what it's sold on Steam. So, way more than 7 million actually playing it. Wild success. Reasons for the wild success? Hard to judge, hard to guess, hard to contemplate, hard for me to understand. Definitely not entirely down to like Game Pass or Xbox or anything along those lines. But massive breakout success despite looking to all intents and purposes utterly shite. So, curious, I should probably see for myself, right? I should play it and find out. Tony, Patrick, and you have a server up and running. Is this a Steam server? You got a 32-player Steam server up and running. Oi, Game Pass helps. Game Pass is definitely going to help its numbers. Episode 13, and it's definitely helped the word of mouth and success reach a sphere that it wouldn't have otherwise. You get these weird breakout success games on Steam though, like Among Us did it randomly 2 years after its launch. Valheim got to like 1 million. Just every now and again, something unexpected, often in the survival genre, just blows up on Steam. And normally they don't have this concurrent console release, so the chatter doesn't normally reach the same circles. Game on, you're just playing, you're not yet, but the Discord people want to have one as soon as it's available. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Tom, it does look poop, but you've not played it either, so you can't be sure. So on the one hand, it looks poop. That's going against it. Also going against it is that it's a survival game. I don't normally enjoy survival games. They blow up on PC space, but I've been patiently waiting for someone like Blizzard to come and fix that genre. If you are here regularly, you know that I quite often say that. Survival as a genre has been ripe for someone like Blizzard, if they're anything like the Blizzard of old, to come in and really fix, like to understand the good bits, understand what makes those games tick, and like just wipe away the noise and the mess that goes with them to make it that bit more accessible, that bit more streamlined, that bit more smooth, and capture the essence of it and make something brilliant. Blizzard are obviously not doing that anymore if you've been following the news. But as a genre, it's just it doesn't tickle me. I don't want to go in there and start collecting berries, which is how most of them start out. I played the Conan Exiles one. I played a little bit of Ark. I played quite a few. Miscreated was another one that I played. And normally you just like, I don't want to pick up rocks and berries. I've had enough within the first 5 minutes. So Palworld as a genre didn't apply to me. Also working against it, for me personally, is early access. I don't like to play games in early access particularly. Q&A box will appear soon, Replicant. Hopefully. Isla has fixed... What did it say before you fixed it, Isla? Thank you for fixing the title on Twitch, but what did it say before you did that? Powers in Palworld are used more as a resource management. Well, Bright, see, I'm going off on the things that I don't like about it at the moment, but I am going to come to the things that do make it slightly appealing. So I don't like survival. I don't like early access. I wouldn't normally play a game until it releases if I could avoid it. Even Hades 2, I'm going to try and avoid playing that in early access. And nothing about the art particularly appeals to me, right? It looks messy. But I've seen... obviously, the explosive popularity is hard to ignore. All the people that are playing it, like several of you here, are telling me that it's good. Like, you're not scoffing at it after trying it. You're not getting suckered into this thing that's like buzzing around social media and then getting on it and going, wow, that's terrible. People are stupid. Like you would with a Roblox. Roblox is really popular, but any of you go and play that and you'll come back here and say, wow, what a terrible experience. And I'd be like, yeah, I know. But none of you are doing that of Palworld. You're all just going on there happily playing it and saying, yeah, you should play Palworld. So that makes it something that I might have to give a go on. And I saw a little clip of the, like a big part of it, unlike Pokemon, a big part of it is like setting up your little base and getting these stupid creatures to do your jobs for you around the base. And I saw what happens when your little home base gets attacked and they all spring into life and start spewing colourful vomit all over the screen. I was like, oh, that looks quite neat actually. You can probably mix in a bit of like tower defense in there with moving colourful towers. So maybe I could give it a go. See, this Pain, you're saying it as well. I need to play Palworld. Tony, you asked why I don't, or what's wrong with early access. Normally early access means that the game isn't as good as it can be, and I would have a better time waiting. Literally what it means, the game's not actually ready if it's in early access. Some people are really keen and must have the latest thing all the time, and they're quite happy to play a game that isn't finished and polished. For me, most games I'm not going to play more than like for a certain amount of time. If it's a storied game, then I'll probably play it once. If it's a multiplayer game, then I'll play it for a wave or a spell and see what happens. But typically, if I'm going to just play it on that one window, it makes more sense for it to be a polished and complete game when I do so. Did I buy Fortnite? I bought Fortnite for my kids. Not for myself. Game Pass doesn't change that part of the equation, episode 13. Like, if I'm only going to play it once, I would rather play it when it's good rather than before it comes out, right? And that's not new, or it's not a response to Palworld or anything like that. That's a response to, like, spending a lot of time previously jumping onto any opportunity to play an open beta or something like that. Play a game before it comes out. It's exciting. You want to get on it. I get it. I understand that. That was me. But after a time, it's like, yes, I've done the open beta. Oh, the game's come out and I have to do it again. Oh, wait. This would probably be more fun right now if I hadn't done that open beta. And now that ethos has kind of got ingrained and burned into me. So when early access comes out, I look at it and I go, oh, it'll be better when it's ready for release. And I don't want to play it twice. So some games that early access are damn fun. Well, there's a whole nother conversation, episode 13, because some games, and this might apply to Palworld, which confuses and muddies the issue a bit. Some games go into early access as a release because they can't be asked to polish it. And some games go into early access with no intention of ever coming out of early access. And one such game is that Craftopia game from the developers of Palworld that went into early access and never came out of it. So it might be that waiting for a release is not an option. It might be that there never is a release for this game. They might just keep it in early access forever. You can change the settings on it and not make it like a survival game, but I want to play a survival game. I think they've got potential to be good. This is why I was looking forwards to Odyssey from Blizzard. I thought this might get the good bits of survival. Game Pass doesn't really push early access. There hasn't been a lot of early access games on it. No, but Xbox has done all right with it. They've had some de facto exclusives out of their early access program, like PUBG was considered an Xbox console game for like a year or something. There's been a few other examples as well, but they're not in my brain right now. Ark was another one that was on console exclusive because of the early access program for ages. And these are, like, similarly like Palworld, not to the same extent as Palworld, but these are big breakaway successes that were unexpected, that pissed around in early access for a while. And in those cases, both Ark and PUBG pretty much only came out of early access so that they could go onto other consoles as well, where there isn't an early access program. But if early access is forever, is it ever early access? Well, Tom, I think the early access programs in general are set up with good intent. They serve a purpose, or they should serve a purpose, but they are exploitable. And some developers do want to exploit them. Because the level of polish you need for certification for an early access program is not as high as it is for a full release. The number of bugs that you can have in the game is not as high for a full release. So on both Steam and Xbox, you can see how it's the easiest and quickest route to getting a game out and playable. So it will get exploited sometimes. Palworld might not be, like... Top chat, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to keep a coherent thread of conversation at the same time. So Star Citizen is never leaving early access, isn't it? That's a weird one because it's crowdfunded from the off. So where do you get it's not on any of the other platforms. You don't get Star Citizen on Steam or anything, do you? Like, it's a direct download, is it? I'm not sure. Does it have its own launcher? Gears uploading something and it's making me stutter. That's okay. That's okay. But Palworld though, so you're all playing it, you love it, and despite putting some time into it, you'd still genuinely recommend it as something to play right now, not to wait for improvements, not to have a better time, later, but to just play and get on with right now. You think it's worthwhile. Alex, when is Palworld coming off of early access? It might be never, it might be someone, I don't know. Brian, you'd argue if they did plan to stick to early access, that might not be the case anymore. There's a fair chance, because it's blown up in the way that it has, and because that's obviously a lot of money running around, they are more likely to try and bring it out of early access and to close that off and release it properly. With the other obvious advantage being, if they bring it out of early access, then they can bring it to other platforms, right? I mean, they may be big and powerful enough now that they can try and bully Sony into an early access release, but Sony are pretty stubborn on that kind of thing. So Sony typically only shift and allow early access when they have a specific marketing deal involved. So they will have motivation to get it to a release state and standard if they want to spread it to more platforms. But if anything goes even slightly wrong, then I'm sure they'll just do what they did with Craftopia and just leave it there. You told who what? Dave? Oh, you told him the release date, the 1st of June or the 6th of January 2032. Could be. Well, I'm assuming the 20 there. Brian, do you think Pocket Pen knows they have a very high value IP on their hands? Yeah. I'm not sure if they knew 2 weeks ago. Like, they know now. This one really, like some people had noticed it. It was on Game Pass and it was shown at an Xbox event at some point or other, and people slightly noticed it, but nobody anticipated 7 million sales or anything silly like that. I'm gonna play it for you. Not right now, but I'm gonna try it. Only because the good people here have told me that it's worth playing. Not because social media is all noisy. But it's social media. So, that's Palworld. I've not got... Actually, while we're here, because I've got a bunch of you, and you like Palworld, do any of you big Palworld fans like other survival games? Episode 13 has talked about Ark before. You played that a bunch, haven't you? What other survival games have you played? Are you people that already enjoyed the genre getting into this? Or is this your first time hitting trees? Yes, Isla, you can have Minecraft if you want to. And you don't lose track of time often while gaming, but Palworld made you lose track of time. Oh. Rust is another example replicant of a breakaway hit. Obviously, again, not to the same extent, but maybe if Rust had hit consoles in a better state at a better time, it would also have been cracking these other spheres. Grounded is very good. Grounded is the most appealing survival game to me at the moment. Oh, Alex, you played Enshrouded and you had to ask for a refund because you keep dying. That's not an excuse for a refund. Did you go through a drop-down list on Steam like, why do you want to refund this? Where's the I'm not very good box? I'm not very good. Let me have my money back. I'm going to bring up the Enshrouded trailer. Enshrouded. It's all people playing, so I'm gonna have a little brief look at ACGs. Not the whole video, because that would be rude, but you won't mind me doing a little bit. Here's Enshrouded. Enshrouded, what the hell is that? It's another open world survival game, Tony. This one is all voxel based, so you can smash up the land pretty much the entirety of it, I think, like Minecraft style. Move things around and build them. What was the question? I don't know. You know full well, Isla, that I can't remember. After a few seconds, whatever I said has just gone into the ether. It's lost forever. Nobody knows. Pokemon. Enshrouded doesn't have Pokemon as far as I know. I don't think... Well, you might be able to build up a village and have some workers and things like that are less fantastical than the weird POW creatures. What about Pokemon, actually? That's a good question. So I asked about survival games. Like, if the people that are enjoying Palworld now were already fans of survival games, were any of you jumping on that game because you like Pokemon? Oh, Isla, I was talking about survival games and said that you can have Minecraft if you want to have Minecraft as a survival game that you've previously enjoyed. I will allow it. It just comes to life when I go online. No, she's always around. I'm always online. You like the idea of your pals shooting and using them as weapons? I might like Enshrouded. Again, it's a survival game, so it's not immediately appealing to me. You watched this today and it looks great, but Alex kept dying. I've played Conan Exiles. I never played Rust. I've not played The Forest. I did play a tiny bit of Grounded and intend to play more of Grounded because that is my favourite of them probably. What else? There was another one that I just thought that was like, oh, good example, but it slipped away from my brain. I played Valheim a bit. Didn't really like that either. Don't Starve isn't one, is it? Obviously you have to survive in Don't Starve, but it's not a survival game like this, is it? I've never played it, so I have no idea. That's enough of ACG's video. How rude of me to keep playing for so long. Well worth a watch though if you are interested in what the game is. Then he will tell you about it. Does New World count? So New World tries to straddle the line between survival and MMO, doesn't it? New World is almost good. Like, they almost had it. They were too conservative in certain areas, and the monetization was a bit shite. If you enjoyed New World, then keep an eye out for Skull and Bones, because it's most similar to... People expected it to be like Sea of Thieves, but it's a lot more like New World in style, control, structure, and all of it. Isometric. Don't Starve is isometric. It's drawn though, right? Skull and Bones looks interesting enough. TJI, I hope that it's been much improved since all the test phases, but it was an absolute freaking awful disaster. And it's been delayed multiple times for a good reason. The Long Dark. Yeah, The Long Dark is a thing being made. I want to see what Don't Starve is. Don't Starve trailer. I know there was a Don't Starve together thing. It is old, right? I recognize the imagery because I've been aware of it, but I've just never played it and I didn't actually have it down as survival. Here it comes. The trailer might not even show gameplay, so I might learn nothing from this. Don't Starve is a life hack. Wow, it's good life advice. I don't know about a life hack. You already played The Long Dark. It was interesting, not amazing. Okay. Okay. What else have we got? What else have we got? I'm lost and confused. I need to play Palworld. I put it on the list. The other good news about Palworld, of course, is I can play it entirely in virtual reality if I want to. Out of the box works with the Unreal Engine VR thing. How am I feeling about this year so far? Prince of Persia, Palworld, Tekken, and Like a Dragon, all good scores. I've not seen any Palworld reviews, actually. Has anyone dared to put together a review yet? And should they have? It's quite a big game, isn't it? I don't think it went to anybody ahead of its launch. Does a really good job of onboarding people. That's encouraging. IGN reviewed it and gave it an 8. Yeah, but their scores don't count, do they? Their scores don't count. Obviously, The Last of Us 2 Part 2 Remastered exists as well. That trailer showed me nothing. That's why I don't know what the bloody game is, because the trailer didn't show me what the game is. Advice is now hacking, a 15-year-old told you. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not down with the kids then. They could use my damn words properly or not use them at all. Alex, I might have seen your questions. You told me you're buying Suicide Squad. The early access is on January 30th. Do I think it's a great title for Community Game Day? It will never be suitable for Community Game Day, because it's not pick up and play. It might be suitable for other occasions, but the Sunday ones is more... I'm more looking for like party games and quickfire battle games. I think Suicide Squad is like a co-op, play it for a while in sequence, get through some content. So that wouldn't be a Sunday game, that would be a different game. I try really hard, like our rotation is not very big and broad at the moment, but I try really hard to make the Sunday games things that people can just drop in and out of. so that it's nice and easy, low friction multiplayer. What did I think of Larian fear-mongering subscription services? I respect their perspective entirely. So TJI's asked that question about Larian fear-mongering subscription service. It was their... I'm not sure who he is, but he's pretty much at the top of Larian. Very AFK, I think he's called on Twitter. And he said Baldur's Gate 3 won't go to the subscription service. He actually specifically said he doesn't have a big problem with subscription services, but he doesn't want it to be the entirety of the future of game distribution. That it's not healthy or wholesome for consumers to have the entire game industry move into subscription services. So with his game, he wants to continue to support the buy-to-play model, just to keep it alive and well. And his reasoning for that was that when things do go entirely subscription service based, you're putting all power to greenlight content and create and decide what people are playing in the hands of a few corporations, and it's not a great environment for creativity. I can't fault that. Subs, I mean, he wasn't even saying that subs aren't the future. He was just saying they can't be the entirety of the future. And true, like, it's like in a world, if you had movies and TV and Disney Plus was the whole of it, the service was Disney, and if it wasn't on Disney you weren't getting it, then you'd get a very specific type of content over and over and over. So I don't think he was fear-mongering, and I think he was pretty genuine with what he was saying. I mean, he's such a liar, he hasn't given any evidence. I don't think he is a liar. And he hasn't got evidence because he's speculating on what the future might bring, right? It doesn't make him a liar, though. You can say you disagree. You can say he might be wrong. You don't think that it will be a problem for other distribution methods to go away. It will, by the way. I would agree on that. Like, at the moment, it's already fairly difficult for games to get attention that aren't on a subscription service. Harder than it used to be. But I typically wouldn't talk in absolutes in any regard. So I wouldn't say he's definitely right about everything that he's saying, but I think his concerns are pretty reasonable. And I wouldn't want to see, like, who's going to have a subscription platform? Microsoft, Sony, and Netflix or whatever. I wouldn't want them to be the custodians of all content, as it were. So yes, Froggy. That's what I would say. Nice, diverse marketplace, many options and different models. I think the subscription service is a strength and definitely adds a lot to what's possible, because we've seen the industry struggling and buckling under the weight of like budgets and saturation. Simply, there's an awful lot of games and not that much money and time to go around. So in a sense, subscription services enable all kinds of different games that we probably wouldn't get otherwise. So I think they're a positive thing, but I've got no problem with Larian not putting their games on one. He said the quality of games will reduce in a subscription service. Where's the evidence? There's not any like counter evidence either. He's talking about the future. So again, it's a reasonable hypothesis, even if you disagree. We'll see though. Like, we're going to find out, aren't we? We're going to see exactly what they bring around. Froggy, it seems too many companies were burning through money trying to buy market share. Well, that's one of the topics that we'll move on to, right? So let's move on to what's going on at Xbox today, huh? Why would the quality reduce? It's change, TJI. Change is always scary. I think it's not guaranteed. In fact, he didn't even say the quality would reduce necessarily. He just said diversity of content would reduce, that everything would have to be greenlit by the subscription and the platform holders rather than going straight to the consumer and making things that they want. But the Game Pass effect is a weird one because there's no evidence of it so far that Microsoft will shift their style and shift their budgets and projects, because they've released a lot of things that still definitely fit in the old kind of mindset. Like Starfield is a massive game. At the same time, if I were Microsoft and I was trying to pad out a subscription service with content, I would be shortening those games because it would just make sense. Gears of War 6 would be smaller as a game on a subscription service than it would be as a game I was trying to charge for, because there's not that much benefit to making them of that size and scale anymore. So it could go that way, or it could not. We don't really know yet. Alex, did I say that I'll play Helldivers 2 with you? How much is Helldivers 2, do you know? I'm not saying, I'm not speaking like against Game Pass when I say this, or any other subscription service. I just think, I think the guy from Larian was reasonable. Don't have much argument against what he was saying. And he made Baldur's Gate 3, right? So even if I really hated what he was saying, I'd cut him a lot of slack, because he made Baldur's Gate 3 and I like it a lot. And I want him to keep making games like that. And if he's telling me, as the guy that will be negotiating these kind of deals, if he's telling me he wouldn't have been able to make a game like that if he was beholden to Microsoft and Sony, which is probably true, by the way. We saw how little Microsoft valued Baldur's Gate 3 ahead of its release. I'll take on board what he's saying. Helldivers 2 is 30 quid on PC. Oh, and do you know how much it is on PlayStation, Replicant? It's a PC game for me anyway, but out of curiosity. 30 or 35 on CD keys. Let's, before we go on to the Microsoft stuff, let's see if the Helldivers 2 launch trailer actually looks any good. I've eaten too much, I need to hiccup. Open trailer, open! From the beginning, you idiot. Here we go, here we go. Helldivers 2 comes out. I don't know when it comes out, soon though. $60 Canadian is 35 quid in the UK. We got a good deal. Canada gets fairly raw, nasty game prices quite often, I think. I want to play Peppa Pig with you. Froggy, is there multiplayer Peppa Pig? What happens? Does one of you have to play like George or something? I'm sorry, I do know the Peppa Pig characters vaguely. I do have children. It's a long time since they watched it, but I remember some of the characters. Only those two. I know that Tony enjoys the game and tries to make people play it. TJ, are you saying that those games would be made? Because we don't really know the answer to that yet. Don't really know the answer to that yet. Obviously, Nintendo wouldn't drop those iconic characters and IPs. I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 would have been made. Unless, this is the key to what he was saying, Baldur's Gate 3 would only be made if someone like Microsoft deemed it worth making. Which is not how that game was brought to market. So, if everything was subscription based, then Larian couldn't do what Larian do. They couldn't fund these games themselves without knowing if it was going to be put on a subscription service or not. They'd have to go to a Microsoft. They'd have to essentially have a publisher relationship despite being an independent developer. Which is a reasonable concern. I don't see an argument against it. The direct to market publishing model allows them a lot more freedom than they'd have without it. That trailer showed me nothing for Helldivers 2. I remember that it has rain though. Tencent funded Baldur's Gate 3, did they? See, I'm not aware of this. I don't know. I don't know the history of it. I know they sold it in early access and made a bunch of money that way, but... Episode 13, Baz said something. Wait, Baz, one moment. Ah, where did it go? Bollocks. Why can't I see it? My options are limited today. Scrolling, not even scrolling. Come on, scroll, you bastard. Right, Palworld is brilliant. Hashtag, or hash, not really. Baz, please expand on that. Because everyone has been telling me. Everyone has been telling me I should play it and I will actually like it. Have you played it and not enjoyed it? I didn't hear the lightning or the animation. I've got my monitoring. Actually, there's just a button that I need to press. And then I should have it. Oh, why didn't I have it? I should have already had it. Don't know the answer. But no, I didn't hear it. Tencent owns 30% of Larian. They sold out to get the money. So, well, that's different though, because they're still like Tencent. We know are fairly hands-off, not really specifically greenlighting content, are they? So them owning a part of the studio isn't the same as Larian having to go to a major publisher to determine what game they're allowed to make next. And what he's saying is that in a subscription-only world, that's essentially what they'd have to do. And again, these are like his words, not mine, and I'm trying to like pick the meaning out of them, but that's my interpretation of what he's saying. It did fizzle for you. Good. Good. Put the new Helldivers 2 trailer from the Sony... That was from the Sony official YouTube channel. I just played it, Alex. I just played it. They might have another one. Oh, 2 days ago, a United Stand Galactic War trailer. This is a longer trailer. I'll let it play and we'll see what comes on it. Alex has zero chill. This is true. This is true. I have to do exactly what he says instantly or he'll start putting words in my mouth again. But as you tried the last 2 days multiplayer and single player and you really can't see why people love it. Easy achievements. I didn't actually know game preview games were allowed achievements. But I guess they are. Alex is hyper like you on Rocket League. Rocket League remains good fun for those Sundays. Tencent seems to be fairly hands-off. As long as they're getting a return on their investment, yes, Replicant. By reputation, at least, they don't get too involved. And they have fingers in every pie. I did read his full quotes. I haven't got them in front of me right now, but I did read them. Dodge, thank you again. You've got the lightning going on the super chat. Have a good sleep. Enjoy your Friday and your weekend. Dodge is like that. Time to overboil hot chocolate. Why do you like try not overboiling it? Try and make it just right. You might enjoy it more. You might start no fires and so on. Never drop Rocket League is the perfect game. Yeah, but I do need to make space for foam stars, Pete. I do need to make space for foam stars. Dodge is indeed very generous, yes. If we get 6 people on Sunday, we could do a 3v3 in Rocket League. It's possible, Painful Discourse. It's possible. But by the time we get to those kind of numbers, I start getting tempted by the bigger multiplayer. Tom. Remember for 6 months. 6 months, thank you. 40 fadgers fadgering for 40 fadging fadgers. Quite so, quite so. Just don't question it. Just roll with it. Read it out loud and hope for the best. Anyway. Golden? Oh, I see, because the 6-month gold badge. Yes, that is a treat. See, I think Helldivers might be fun from time to time. But it has an adequate amount of rain and weather effects. But I don't know when I'll be able to get it. So we'll see. We'll see. What else have we got? Let's move on to Helldivers. No, let's move on to the stuff that's going on at Microsoft, right? So if you didn't already see, and I'm sure all of you have already seen, today Microsoft announced that they are trimming 1,900 or 1,900 if you prefer, but it's the same thing, jobs from their gaming division. They're removing them from across Activision Blizzard King, but also some from Xbox and some from ZeniMax as well. Which sucks, right? It's never a pleasant thing for anyone to go through. Obviously, we're not directly going through it, but for the people involved, it definitely sucks. It was also a fairly inevitable consequence of the ABK merger. So, not unexpected. But it's shitty, it's bad times, it's negative PR. And it comes right off the back of them like becoming the most valuable, richest company in all the world. So it's not a good look to be getting rid of people. You could say at least they waited till after Christmas, I suppose. There were a lot of redundancies in the tail end of last year, right before Christmas as well. So You know, they waited until after Christmas before doing it. But they're getting rid of a lot of people. And from what we can tell, they said most of them are going to be from Activision Blizzard King, being the new acquisition, but it does affect other studios as well. And from what I've gathered from Twitter so far, notable casualties are the survival team. So the team at Blizzard that were making Odyssey has pretty much entirely been scrapped, along with Mike Ybarra, the head of Blizzard. And Adam, what's his face? Aham, something like that. One of the co-founders of Blizzard, the art director that's been responsible for all of the iconic Blizzard art style since its inception. He's gone as well. So those are notable. Blizzard have taken a massive hit in terms of actual developers. Yes, Replicant Project Odyssey is cancelled and the entire team appears to be made redundant. Again, when these things are going down, messaging can get a little bit muddled and confusing. So even the people within that team might not necessarily know the extent of the redundancies within their own team. A lot of them were asked to work at home today. They all had their individual meetings and all the rest of it. But to all intents and purposes, it looks like the entirety of the team that were making Odyssey is gone. And the game Odyssey has been cancelled. I think that bit's confirmed. I think the cancellation has been confirmed elsewhere as well. Which is wild, because the survival genre has a habit of exploding in a really big way. And all of the games in the survival genre, including Palworld that we were just talking about, and all the many others that we've talked about, typically come out in early access, are typically janky as fuck, typically sell boatloads, and the genre is just so ripe for someone to make a polished version of this genre and just take the world by storm. And that used to be Blizzard's signature. That's how they made games. That's how they made their strategy games. It's how they made their MMO. It was supposed to be how they made their MOBA, but that one fell a bit short. But it's what they were renowned for. They take a slightly janky genre, strip away the jank, get to the essence of what makes it good, and release a game that sells like mad. And that could have been what was coming, but they said no, it's gone. We're on the outside. We don't know what state that project was in. Maybe it was gone because it was disastrously bad. Maybe it was because like Patrick says there, maybe it's gone because it was too similar to what they're planning for Everwild. I don't know. We can't know their exact reasons for getting rid of it, but it just seems nuts. How can you have Blizzard working on a game for years that has so much potential just by virtue of being Blizzard in a mad popular genre, and then go, well, we can't salvage this, there's no value here, I don't see how we can turn this into money, and close the whole thing down? Imagine Blizzard doing that with the Soul genre. The Soul genre isn't that janky though. The Soul genre is different because if you take away the jank, you probably have taken away the genre. Then it just becomes action games that have already been done plenty. Blizzard hasn't been average. Wait a minute. Oh, Blizzard's been pretty average for years. So Blizzard are not what they used to be. They've been greedy for years. They've not been average. They've still had something special about them. They've just been greedy with their monetization, and it's ruined a lot of what they did well. Patrick, you like some jank in your games. That's a legitimate thing. Normally when Blizzard come along and remove the jank from games, the original audience remains faithful to what they were playing to some degree, because oftentimes the jank is seen as part of the charm. But it gets a bigger audience, right? It takes the essence of what made it successful and finds a bigger audience, even if it's not necessarily the same audience that were already enjoying that genre. And survival's so ripe for that. I don't know. Weird to see. Alex, when was the last time I bought a game on the PlayStation Store? I keep meaning to go and get that Last of Us upgrade because it's only a tenner. Before that, it must have been probably God of War, Ragnarok, whenever that came out. I haven't bought many games recently. Gamsley's here. Of course you are. Why wouldn't you be? Bought King Kong on the PlayStation Store. No, I didn't. There was something else. I can't remember what. I've definitely downloaded some stuff off of PlayStation Plus. Because I downloaded the silly Final Fantasy Chaos game when that went on there. And I downloaded a Star Ocean game that I haven't played yet. Is that tea? No, that was coffee. That was coffee. Painful Discourse, the newest report suggests that they cancelled the game due to engine problems. They were using the in-house Overwatch engine. It's a curious choice, but I'm not sure about those reports. Something wrong with my stream? Why didn't your donation show up? Alex, what did you do? I don't see it, Alex. Which means it's a YouTube thing, and hopefully you haven't been charged. Because I'm looking through the chat and there's not anything there. So, hopefully, whatever you did didn't charge, because YouTube hasn't registered it at all. But that is, unfortunately, that is rather out of my hands. I cannot find that and do anything with it, I'm afraid. Replicant, you mean this isn't the first time that Blizzard has cancelled a high-profile game in development? Titan that became Overwatch, yeah. It's a good point that Titan used to be an MMO, so maybe the engine is made for that kind of scale. Do you reckon then, Replicant, that it was Blizzard cancelling this, that it is actually project difficulties and the higher-ups in Blizzard had a big say in it being cancelled, rather than their new overlords coming in and saying, nah, I don't need you. No minimum prices anymore, Tony. You think it was Xbox? As an outsider to Blizzard games, did it get worse after Mike Ybarra was in control? No, P. I think actually, if anything, he helped steer them back on course when they were. I mean, I'm not very familiar with Overwatch's trajectory, which is it's not insignificant. I don't know if Ybarra was responsible for the kind of debacle that was Overwatch 2. That was a mess, the way that they handled that. So that might have been his fault, but World of Warcraft has been on a kind of upwards trajectory, I would say, and the stuff that they've announced going forwards was looking good. Diablo 4, you know I'm not a massive Diablo 4 fan, but again, the game had a quality to it. It was just that greed and commercialization. I don't think he's the cause of the problem. It's an AI me, that's why I don't see the chats. I see everything. I don't see everything. I try. Episode 13, Mike is good. Why is Mike good? What about Mike's history makes you a fan of his episode 13? And you're not surprised that he walked away, but it did seem abrupt. So I wouldn't be surprised. Typically, there's Rod Ferguson as well, right? Where did he end up? I can't remember. It's all blurring into one. But Mike Ybarra, having worked at Microsoft for 20 years and then getting out for whatever reasons he had for getting out and then being brought back in, you can understand him leaving in those circumstances. Alex, that came through. No message though. No message, but I read everything you say anyway, so that's all cool. Thank you for that. And I even heard the sparkles as well. You've only heard that he was nice, and many people were sad that he's gone. The circumstances were a little unusual, because he had been signalling his intent to stay with Blizzard for a long time to come. And then all of a sudden he wasn't staying with Blizzard. So the rumours were that he walked due to the redundancies and the cancellation of Odyssey. Yes, Replicant, I got those. But those were very early rumours to break. So if anything else has happened along the way, if there's been any more clarification, then I haven't seen it. But it does seem like he left in response to what's happening now, or was pushed as a part of what's happening now, rather than objecting to the acquisition in the first place. Unlike Pete Hines, for example, Pete Hines at ZeniMax seemed to hate everything about being acquired by Microsoft from the off, and kicked and stomped his feet for like a good number of months before taking his leave. Which, fair play to him, or not having a go at him saying that, but he was quite openly resistant to certain things that were going on, wasn't he? So Ybarra just seemed to be all enthusiasm. I need to put a better effect for a $1. What? The effects do scale up, actually. There are multiple different super chat effects available. We haven't hit the top ones yet, and that's fine. One day, though, one day someone will make all kinds of crazy stuff happen. There's also different alert types when you've been a member for 12 months, which you can't possibly get for at least 6 months yet. Yeah. Darge was huge. Darge had all the lightning going on as well, didn't he? Had some time to go, so maybe pushed. Yeah, maybe. Alex, you did get effects. You got lots of sparkling and some stuff happening. And a portal and a message. It all came up on screen. Has anyone guessed the background? The background is quite an easy one. I don't think anyone's said it yet. Also, the OST just became really easy just in this moment as well. If you can hear that. It's fairly quiet, so you might not be able to. Yes, the background is definitely cyberpunk. Where are we? 10:15. What else are we talking about today? There were some things. Let me have a little look at my list. Pretending I didn't actually write a list. I did. I didn't really. How do I navigate a PC? They're so confusing. Yeah. Here we go. So, we've got Palworld. We've got the Xbox stuff. Yeah, we've got a little bit more there. Okay, so, I hadn't finished on Xbox, had we? 1,000? No, nothing like that, Pete. Nothing like that. I can't actually remember the threshold. In fact, if I wanted to tell you the threshold, I couldn't, because YouTube makes it really confusing in the way that it tiers up the super chats and handles different currencies and things like that. So, Xbox got rid of these people, right? We've talked about Blizzard taking a heavy hit and this survival team taking a particularly heavy hit. But there's also been word that there's been a lot of community managers impacted. So the community managers, example that I saw was one of the lead community managers from Fallout 76 was let go. But I think across the board, as is usually the case when these companies are getting rid of people, community managers take a big hit first off. They're considered more expendable than most other roles, and you can form your own opinions on whether that's fair or unfair, whether they contribute as much as other roles, whether they're as important, whether community interaction should be valued or not. Reality is it's not valued as highly, so a lot of the community managers were sent away. And there's been word that there's lots of impacts across customer services as well, which Blizzard in particular was supposed to be very good on. Blizzard as a developer, I don't know if it's still the case, but they were known to have like a Blizzard village where a whole load of their employees, I don't think it was literally a Blizzard village, but it was an area where an awful lot of Blizzard employees lived. I bet they're all staying home all sad today, but their customer services have been hit very heavy as well, and outsourced to customer services, outsourcing factories, call centers elsewhere and whatever. So all of that kind of sucks. But again, and this is just what I've absorbed through discussions around it, and the people getting home going, hey, I've been made redundant, I was impacted, this sucks, and people kind of piecing together patterns and seeing what's happening. An area the size of Wales, is that? No, it can't have been the size of Wales, can it? What's going to be a sad area the size of Wales right now? Alex, do I think that Jim Ryan was right by not trusting Microsoft with Activision Blizzard? I'm not sure that trust is really a thing that applies there, Alex. I don't think Jim Ryan didn't trust them. He resisted them. Hang on. We haven't had this for a while, and it might be the last opportunity. He resisted the acquisition, but I'm not sure trust was an issue. And get a fair idea of what they were going to do, and I don't think Microsoft really denied what they were going to do. So, you put a plaster on your thumbnail because it broke. Good plan. Good plan. Last opportunity. So Q&Asa isn't going away when I say last opportunity, but I'm not sure I'm going to keep doing the backgrounds. We'll see on that one. Yeah, infinite Q&Asa, not infinite me, just infinite Q&Asa. That was a nice one, because this is a nice colour, this particular background. Cutting hedges. It's a joke from a comedy. What did I miss? Episode 13. I didn't see it. I never missed it. I can see me. It's too big and off-putting. It was still on the screen for ages. Oh, an area the size of Wales is a joke from a comedy. Episode 13. Quote better comedies, damn it. That's fine. I don't know what you were quoting, but I missed the reference. Right. So they got rid of all those people. And that sucks. And by next week, everyone will probably be more or less over it. It'll be forgotten. It's difficult because it's not just Microsoft getting rid of people. Like I say, loads and loads of people have been let go from the gaming industry towards the tail end of last year, start of this year. There was a tiny developer. What did they... a developer, like, for the sake of contrast of scale... says the backgrounds must stay. But you know what? If you feel strongly about the backgrounds, then they will stay. They could stay. I'll come back to that in a second, Replicant. No, because now I've forgotten what I was talking about. The backgrounds, for an entire year, I changed the background every week. With like one exception. But for an entire year, I did a unique background every time. And it got to a point where some of them were taking like hours. Because you have to get to a certain point in the game to capture the background. So they were taking ages. So I gave up on rotating it every week and started recycling them. And I've been living off the recycled ones for a little while. Occasionally adding in a new one, usually from Spider-Man 2, because it has a good photo mode. But I thought maybe it'd run its course. But now you're saying they must stay. So, you know, maybe they'll stay. Maybe they'll stay. I'll think about it. I need a background creator. Yeah. More Minecraft backgrounds. I haven't had the Minecraft ones for a while. I could do again. I never used the Nether one. Not sure I've got one that I haven't used. Can I have a background that slowly reveals throughout the show like catchphrase? That would be a long video in the background, episode 13. The longest one I've ever had, actually, was Forza Horizon 5. I had most of a day-night cycle of Forza Horizon 5. Big file, big file. Long time to just record and render for the sake of the show. FTW, you haven't got your answer. The background is the DLC. It's not the DLC, it's base Cyberpunk. Yes, this is, you visit this place in the normal... pre-DLC campaign. You didn't play it. Okay, yeah. This is one of the recurring locations from the campaign. When do I think the next state of play is? I don't know. It's got to be soon. Is this music the same one? Oh no, it's Alex uses. I've got no idea. No idea. He might do. This is a more lengthy OST though. I rotate the backgrounds and I rotate the OST as well. Pete, sacking dev staff is awful. Been there. Afterwards you sit there crying, but that is part of the industry. It's part of every industry. It does suck. I've not worked in the games industry. I've worked in other industries and been through redundancies and been through redundancies as a result of acquisitions as well. And they feel disgusting, not just to the people that are affected and the people that are let go, but it's a horrible experience for the people that just have to be around the office while all that is going on. So it does suck. And you'd think there would be a better way, but people will move on. It'll be forgotten in a week. And hopefully all of the people that have been impacted and have lost their jobs can find things. That's the difficulty of the timing, is the whole industry is shrinking in that way. So I'm sure a lot of the people that are going will not be returning to the games industry. They'll go elsewhere. And some of them that'll be by choice and some of them it won't. Did I miss your comment? Possibly, Alex. You asked when I think the next state of play is, and I don't know the answer. I don't pretend to be an insider in that way. If I did know, I don't know. Replicant rumor is a state of play soon. You know, rumors of a state of play being soon. You could be saying that at any point over quite a long time. Yeah, of course, there's one soon. There's been one coming soon for ages, and there's been dodgy fake insiders claiming they know when it is for ages, and it's been nice to see them be wrong. But it does have to happen soon, right? And you reckon they're a dark horse? You reckon they're going to have... You reckon they could come out guns blazing? Replicant, what kind of time period do you think they'll come out, like, showcasing? Do you think they're going to come out and say, actually, we've got more in 2024 than you were led to believe? Or do you think they're going to go for those more aspirational, like, these things are coming in 6 years' time kind of showcase? Welcome to Paradise looks interesting. Have I seen it? I've heard of that. But no, it's not sparking any visual memory. Who's Isla smacking? Tony, you have to work with people who are being let go on the 16th of February, I think that is. It's very confusing because you've gone for the 2nd of some 16th month that doesn't exist. It's annoying because most honestly don't care anymore and you don't blame them. But the job still needs to get done. I also, like a long time ago, I worked at a company that went under entirely, and was one of the last people there, and we got to spend like 2 weeks just playing table tennis. It was a beautiful time, but it was that was after months and months of being there while people were let go. So, a real crushing, nasty atmosphere that culminated in 2 weeks of table tennis. Table tennis and badminton is cool. We couldn't have played badminton, there wasn't space. But table tennis, that went well. Your manager told you she got a phone call demanding access to files. I read flies at first, but it's files from a company she used to work for that had made her redundant. She got a phone call demanding access to files. Oh, their files. Yeah. Eva Gaming over on Twitch. What's up? How are you doing? I'm on Twitch and YouTube as I usually am for this show. So there are many conversations happening, and I will try and keep you looped in as well. So redundancies at Microsoft. Everything's sad. They'll be impacted for a while. Mood will be sad for a bit. Everyone will get back to work. As people playing games, it'll probably be forgotten in about a week. Especially if Microsoft show anything positive. It is in terms of. I always say that fans are really fickle, and you could take a little period of about 2 weeks of life in the world of Xbox and see a massive steep like roller coaster of emotions. Now actually I can't even remember what people were so sad about before the developer direct, but there was something negative going on right before that. I really don't remember what it was. Everyone was sad and mad about something, and then suddenly everyone had forgotten and they were really happy. And now they're going to be down for like a few hours, and in a week they'll be happy again. Third party, that might have been it, FTW. Was that it? The stories of them going third party and the console being doomed and very sad. Yeah. Ever so fickle. Good thing I'm not emotional, so I just get to ride it out. Recommend everyone shuts down their feelings. Eva Gaming 45. I'm talking to people on YouTube as well. So Twitch is very quiet and YouTube has a fair few more people. So I will try and explain what I am responding to keep it kind of coherent. Don't answer the bot. Tony, what? I can answer episode 13. Episode 13 got upset. See, he's fickle and emotional. He got all sad that he thought his exclusives were going to Sony. Hugo Rush rumors to PlayStation. What's Hugo Rush? Isn't that like a aftershave or something? Pete, there's no reason for the great unwashed to care about the industry. They don't even know how games are made. Pete, I've got a question for you as a former developer. Here's a thing that some people will probably be upset about. there's a weird push that's been going on for at least a year or so. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to anyone that's, especially the people that are being made redundant and all the rest of it, but there's a weird push. Oh, graphics artwork. No, go away. Sorry, not interested in buying and selling stuff right now. Twitch sucks sometimes. So I'm confused. Isla, could you just like knock that guy away if he's still there? Pete, push in and around the development industry that I've not seen in any other industry ever. That everyone who's involved in a game company in any way whatsoever should be referred to as a dev. I'm curious on that one because I look at that and I don't really understand why that's important to them. Like if you're working within human resources or IT or community manager or whatever else, why do you want to be referred to as a developer? Where does this come from? Is it just nice to be included in what the team is doing? Thank you for shifting that away. And I'm aware that I'm like going against the strange hippie thing you're supposed to do, but why? Why do you need to be called a dev if you're not? It's like if you work in an IT development, like in an IT department in any other industry, you wouldn't want your role to be defined as anything other than I work in IT. So I find it very curious. And developer is already, though, like a fairly broad term. When you look at what a game studio does and you say someone's a developer, that could encompass all kinds of different roles in terms of like art and code and everything else. But everyone in the team is part of development. So Pete, yeah, that's what I mean in terms of like it is a generic term that applies to lots of things. But to people on the outside, it's not as generic as that. And this is why you always see people get confused and have this little back and forth and pushback. But do you think like clerical roles still count as being part of development? It's not entirely unreasonable. I mean, obviously you want to feel like you're contributing to the overall goals of the company and things like that, but people get quite touchy about it. I don't remember having this argument ages ago, especially not on Go Live, where I wouldn't have said anything at all. I wouldn't have thought. I don't have a massive problem with it. I just find it unusual that people are touchy about it and get really defensive about whether they're allowed this term or not. Tony, can you record what you stream through Discord? Discord doesn't have a recording function. No, I don't think so. +++++ equals. Oh, okay, cool. There's a cat. I'm reading a comment from a cat. So Replicant, you know what annoys you similar to this is games media saying that they are in the games industry. This is more so a thing. Yes, Replicant. Much more so than people wanting to be included in like. So I kind of get the developer thing where people should feel included. Like if you want to me personally, if I'm working for a company, I'd want to feel like I was contributing to what that company is doing, just to feel like value in the fact that you're there. So I do get that side of it. But yes, the people, journalists and influencers and all of that sort that claim to be also part of the games industry, yeah, that's a bit overly bold hubris. So I'm with you on that, Replicant. Oh no, it's the cat. Cat did fine. Cat did fine. JJ, you would assume someone who says they're a dev is doing the literal game creation and coding. Well, this is what I mean, JJ. From the outside, that's the expectation, right? Even though I'm fully aware, like, a game developer is too broad a term. Maybe if you're in like a really small one-person studio, you can say I'm a game developer and I'm mastering all aspects of this trade. But typically, it is an umbrella term that covers a lot of different aspects of development. But you still, from the outside, wouldn't necessarily think of like a community manager as a developer. And that's not to disrespect the role of a community manager. It's just, it just doesn't align with the outside understanding of what it means. So I don't know. Pete, you had programmers, artists, QA, manual writers, marketing. They all had equal rights to call it their game as they all worked like fuck on it. Now, dev is considered more tech. I don't know, Pete, you tell me. This is why I'm asking you, because you were there. I don't think... I mean, I think this has only surfaced as an issue recently. I could be wrong though, and you'd be the person to ask. Would your manual writers have considered themselves developers? Would marketing have considered themselves developers? Is this like a long-running thing, and people on the outside are just blissfully ignorant? If you haven't used OBS before, good luck, Chronic. Oh, okay, for Tony to record. Tony, yeah, you can ask questions about how to record whenever you want. But you're going now, no worries. You enjoy whatever it is you're doing. I'm going to round up soon anyway, because I don't have too many more topics for today. Don't have too many more. But there was something else. What else is there? And what am I talking about right now? Where are we? The manual writers often knew more about the games than you did. I'm sure they did, Pete. You'd have to understand pretty thoroughly what's going on to write, wouldn't you? So enjoy your XXX rated. This is Explore, Explode and Explode questions. I look forward to them, Tony. I'm not quite ready for the 4X game, but the 3X is probably easier, right? Did I see that VR floor thing that Disney is coming up with, Froggy? I got tagged into it by about 12 different people. So they call it a hollow something, right? It essentially looked like a load of beads on the floor. So you could walk on it very, very slowly. I saw it and the concept is interesting. And combined with a harness, maybe you'd be able to use it and move a little bit faster. But in its current iteration, it looked very much research and development. Not close to being a product for the consumer. But it's interesting, right? Moving around in VR is an ongoing challenge that there isn't that much appetite to fix. And I don't know if those fixes will ever come my way. I've got my Slippy Dish treadmill. I'm happy for the time being. But yes, I did see what Disney are doing. Oh, I've eaten too much or something. My body is trying to destroy me from the inside. But that is fine. So Pete, yes, they were entitled, but back then they didn't want or need to be called devs. So where does that want or need come from? Why is it just surfaced in the last couple of years? We got a 50% like rate. Tell people to like. I don't mind if people like or not. It's fine. It's fine. They can like if they like it. Nathan Martin, thank you. I hope you're having a good evening as well. I'm playing lots of games. Tell me what you're playing. Chronic, it definitely needs a harness. You saw it and thought you'd be on your ass in 2 minutes. So the Disney thing, when I saw it, should I find it? I guess I should find it. It looked like the people that were demonstrating it, they didn't have a harness. They were relatively safe, but they did look a bit unsteady. And they moved like they were 8 million years old. Like it really aged them dramatically. I've been tagged in it so many times. Come on, I can't find it. That's because I'm looking wrong. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Gonna bring it up. Don't panic, everyone, just calm down for a second. It's a Twitter video, it's not pretty. There we go. Walking on these weird little pebble things, but walking very slowly, looking a little bit unsteady. First time on his ice skates. But he's staying up, he's staying up. Very slowly. Like, very slowly. Just pottering around. So yeah, it's not ready to be useful yet. Conceptually quite interesting. Alex, how can you become a mod for my channel? Or I prefer Dave over... Dave isn't a mod. Dave isn't a mod. And that's not anything against Dave or you, but I don't want to overmod because Isla's always there and she's very on it. So, He is an old man, FTW, but everybody, they had a couple of people on it and they all look drastically more aged than they actually are. Mods need to have some chill. Nah. Isla's chill enough. Like, it's just right. Just right. When she wants some help, I'll get her some help. Don't look jump scare and fun ready. It doesn't look jump scare or running ready, no. No. I'll lose Isla if I hire more mods. I'm not hiring anyone, nah. I wish I could hire people, but no. No, no, no. Although, you did just remind me of the last topic that I had planned. I keep talking about it. If you're in the Discord, you already know. There is some stuff changing. Please don't be afraid. It's changing because this place is good, and I'm trying to expand what's good about it. So, this channel is going to be renamed, but it is still the same channel. It is still this environment and this atmosphere. There will be more podcasts coming. So, hopefully starting next week. I'm definitely starting next week for at least one of them. Thursday is going to have the Xbox podcast. Tuesday is going to have the podcast with Darge and Chris that I thought of a wonderful concept for name and theme today. And this show that we're on right now is going to move to Wednesday. So FTW, it is going to be renamed because I'm uncomfortable with all the people that are on these podcasts having to go around and telling people that they're on my channel rather than just a community space. Because that's what this channel is, right? This, where we are right now, YouTube and the Discord around it, has become like a cool community. So I'm expanding on that element of it because I prefer the community element over the me element. But I am gonna doggedly keep the community element good. When you get free tea, I mean, you're in Canada, so maybe one day, but I can't get you anything free at the moment, I'm afraid. Totally agree. Good, Pete. I don't want anyone to feel like some of you, like you, Pete, Tony, Isla, various people are here regularly and all the time, and I don't want you to feel like I'm taking anything away that you've already got. It's just shifting a little bit to kind of play on the strengths of what we've got here. That's the plan. No date yet for the podcast. FTW, the Xbox One will almost definitely, there's very little that can go wrong at this point because it's pretty much ready now. The Xbox One will start next Thursday. The other one, do you know what? Should I tell you the name? No, I'm not going to tell you the name. The other one, I hope, starts on Tuesday, but its state of readiness is not as far along. So there is more to do to get that one ready. I hope that they can both start next week. I hope that the channels rename and rebrand and stuff is done and those both start and it all gets rolling like in sync and in tandem. But Tony is a strength. Patrick, you as well. You've been here ages and you're like... Pete's our retired dev and you're our junior dev, and it's cool. Froggy, read it, or am I overthinking these things? Why not just do it? No, I am just doing it. Doing it. FTW, you don't mind. Good thing to know, so you're not looking for Game-on-Asa in your channels. Yeah, I will make sure that you do know when it changes. But yeah, that's it. That's what's happening with the channel, basically. Deadly Headley, if Gamsley is a milking first kind of guy, you're going to have to rethink this. I don't think Gamsley's ever drunk a cup of tea at all. I think he's making it up. He wants to try it. He wants free tea just because that's a good price for a cup of tea, but I don't think he wants to be making it with milk or otherwise. Pete, I just need to fly and do what I want. You can dip in and out where you see fit, do my stuff. Yeah. You don't put tea and milk, you weird fuck. Yeah, I didn't think so. Oh no, not a buffer. No, there's no buffer, that's you. So yeah, like Deadly Headley and Gamsley are here right now. They're ready to go next Thursday. That one's pretty much locked in. I can't see anything going wrong to stop that one from happening. So good to go. Tuesday, like I say, less progressed, but I hope that it's ready for Tuesday. And there'll be stuff going on. I should give you early streams on a Sunday, but it'll be hard for you to join the community game stream because of work. So in terms of the game streaming, that's a casualty of this, but not entirely. At the moment, most evenings I do game streaming, and if I'm doing podcasts, I can't very easily do game streaming at the same time, but there will still be things going on there. Those are going to be less scheduled though. I'll just be jumping on to stream games as and when windows of time open up to do it. There will be some group streaming and stuff. Those Xbox guys, Deadly Headley and Gamsley in particular, are ready to play some Xbox games, hopefully after those shows. But in terms of the stuff that I do regularly, that'll still be happening. So just keep an eye on things, and I'll let you know where things are going and what's happening. But no plans to stop, only plans to do more of everything all the time. Isla, you made hot chocolate in a saucepan, which might be outrageous. It's not. That's how they used to do it in the 50s. And before. Got to clarify, because Pete might correct me. That's it though, right? So let me have a quick look on Discord before we go on to the Q&A questions. So every week, in fact, this is going to have to change. There's a room in the Discord server called... I can't really find it. A room in the Discord server called Thursday Show Questions. I'm going to have to rename that because it's going to move to being the Wednesday show for these. But we've got a couple. We've got Alex, check out Elder Scrolls Online 2024 Global Reveal Recap with a link to the Bethesda Twitch channel. So that's not live anymore, Alex. I can't check it out. You've been playing that though, haven't you? Is Elder Scrolls Online the best MMO available right now? And another one from Alex. How long has it been since I haven't visited a VR adult site? That's my first question for the Q&A show. How long has it been since I haven't visited a VR adult site? I told you, Alex, VR is not for videos, adult or otherwise. Terrible experience. Terrible experience. Don't do it. And I've lost the Discord. That's it for those questions on there. So Isla, would you be so kind as to show up the actual Q&A questions if you are available to do that at the moment? Disagree for movies. So Chronic's actually that's different though, Chronic, because the movies, you're watching movies, right, in big screen and things like that, which isn't my favorite way to watch things, but particularly for 3D ones, it's quite tempting. But I'm talking about 360 video. Have you done any watching of 360 or 180 degree videos? David Jaffe told you about his experience in VR adult sites. His opinions on VR are janky though. He said weird things on Go Live, so I can't trust his opinions on VR. Because he said stuff that's just fundamentally backwards. Fair play to him, everyone's entitled to their own opinions about it, but he said you can't mechanically do anything in VR that you can't do in a pancake game, and it just struck me as weird because the mechanics are very different. Very different. It's okay, but the quality in most isn't good enough. See, I don't find quality a thing. It's the fact that in actual VR, you've got 6 degrees of freedom, so you can move your head around, you can move into a scene and out of a scene and naturally move wherever you want. In a 360 video, it's a video wrapped around your head. So if you move at all in any natural way, it just makes you feel sick, I think. ASMR in VR 180 is great. I don't believe you, Froggy. Like, for some people maybe, but maybe if you close your eyes and just don't look at it. It's not the same as actual VR experience. I don't think it is a good way to use the headset. But again, on videos, I'm not very tolerant to motion sickness and things like that. So maybe for other people it's less unpleasant. I don't know. So, first question that we've got, Replicant asked, or said, I am pissed about the Blizzard news. No question. That's a statement read out loud. So everybody be fully aware that Replicant is pissed about the Blizzard situation. And it is Blizzard in particular as well, because throughout all of the ABK stuff, my keen interest has been on Blizzard as well. I just want Blizzard to be in a better place where they can keep making good games, not have to do this quite so egregious on their monetization. And I really don't like the way they monetize Diablo 4 and World of Warcraft and all of those. And come away from it better than they were before, which overall still might be the case, but it was a nasty nasty day, nasty day's events for them. Next question, please. Will I play Asgard's Wrath anytime soon? Alex, I will. They actually took away the casting ability from the quest for a little while. It's supposed to be back now. But I want Asgard's Wrath 2 to work on my treadmill, and I haven't checked, but I don't think it does yet. Maybe for those of you who are not VR snobs. Wow, I'm that. So what happened to replaced? I don't know, Tony. That's going to appear soon. It looks... it looked like it had come a long way last time we saw it, so it's going to appear soon, but I have no knowledge on where it is. Wasn't replaced coming out of Ukraine though. I might be entirely wrong on that, but I think some of their delay was down to circumstance there. I think we will see it soon though. TJ asked, what was my take on Larian talking down subscription services? A lot of fear mongering, if you ask you. So I'm assuming that came in before we discussed it earlier, but yeah, we've done that one. Let's do the next one, please. If you missed that earlier on because you just tuned in late or whatever else, we had a reasonable, it almost became a whole topic where we were talking about stuff that Larian said around whether they want their games on subscription services or how they see the future. But you will have to go back and pick it up because it was lengthy. Pete asked, anyone have thoughts on the round Series X allegedly coming? As far as I can tell, the only worthwhile updates are Bluetooth, faster Wi-Fi, and a new controller. If I buy the new controller, I don't see a reason to buy the box. So this is the one that came out during the court case a while ago that may or may not still be true. It was an Xbox Series X, but rounded off into a cylinder shape. And my light started flickering. It was notably all digital, so the disk drive isn't included in it. But otherwise, it was basically a Series X with a newer standard of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and slightly, I think it had a 2 terabyte drive instead of 1. But besides that, it was like same power and stuff. It's not a Series X Pro or anything like that. It was just the new revision of the Series X. There's no reason to buy it if you've got a Series X particularly, because it's not supposed to be more powerful or anything like that. The controller that debuted with it has to be coming still, even if the cylinder Xbox doesn't. The controller took on features of the DualSense essentially. It had the haptics and their own kind of haptics, so in some ways better. Haptics capable of audio as well. Not that I care for audio from a controller, but that means very refined, very capable haptics in the controller. Improved vibration, yeah, haptics is improved vibration, episode 13. And that's been like surely on the way for a while. The Elite controller still doesn't have a share button. Like there has to be a new Elite controller coming because it still isn't actually updated for the Series consoles. So controllers from Microsoft, they've been waiting for something. I don't know what they're waiting for. I'd quite like to see it. Their controls are already comfortable, but they are noisy. And the haptics can't do any harm, can they? So what have we got here? Apple. So Game Antonio asked, Apple opened up the store for all streaming services like Xbox and GeForce. Apple Vision is taking over. So Apple made lots of changes today. I'm not sure how many of them are worldwide and how many of them are EU only. Most of them were, like, they are a direct result of mandates from the EU about how they handle their store and their monopoly and all the rest of it. So among those, you should be able to get, I think this one might be worldwide, you should be able to get Game Pass and GeForce Now. Services like that Apple previously blocked because they treated them as rival storefronts. So they wouldn't allow you to launch an Xbox Game Pass app and then browse a library of games within it. If you wanted to use Xbox Game Pass on the Apple Store, each game had to be listed as its own entity. So you'd have to launch like Halo Infinite, and it would stream a Halo Infinite streaming app rather than a Game Pass broad overall app. They got reprimanded for that, and they've changed it, so now you can play things properly. I don't know if any of them have released yet. I don't know if Microsoft or Nvidia or anybody else had like an app ready to go once this restriction dropped. But if they're not already there, they will be soon. Other things are their revenue model, so their typical 30% they were not allowed. So they've changed to revenue models that aren't necessarily better for everybody. Cut it down from 30 to like 10 or 17, but also they've added a per install fee, which if you remember the Unity fallout, when Unity, the development engine, talked about having per install fees, there was massive fallout for that. So I'm not sure people are going to necessarily be very happy that that's the route that Apple have taken as a response to not being allowed their 30%. But it is big changes in the mobile space, big changes in the way those stores work, big changes that will hopefully lead to a better environment for everybody. Did Apple also not need to certify each game? I think they can still certify each game for their own store, but one of the things they have to do is allow other stores. They have to allow essentially sideloading. They have to allow other stores on there, other ways to distribute games and other places for people to pay. So yeah, I think at that point they probably don't certify each one, but I don't know all the details because it's Apple stuff. Apple stuff. Episode 13, you don't mind loudness. Do you play with headphones? You wear 2 cups. I assume that's headphone cups. Alex S., your question hand up. What was your question, Alex? I will catch it soon. Game on Tony asks, people dislike Blizzard because of how it has been recently. And now that the person who approves all of the decisions leave, people cry about it. I don't get it. Damned if you do or don't. I'm not sure that people dislike Blizzard because of stuff Ybarra did. A lot of the monetization stuff that I don't like, I think, predates him. The cash store and all of that stuff in... Also, I think a lot of people blame Activision for what happened with Blizzard. I know I traditionally have, rightly or wrongly. A lot of people look at Blizzard's greed and say that's Activision's fault. Blizzard were a nice company. So I think Activision probably took more of the brunt of the blame than Ybarra. And you're like looking at the Overwatch community, which is a different space that I'm not so familiar with. I don't know what the Overwatch people think of him or the company or anything else, really. But you're right about the damned if you do or damned if you don't. There is something to that. Next question, please. Tom, that's made you think of an intriguing question at FTW. Whilst out at sea for long periods, have you ever walked in on a collie? Oh no, no. What's the next question? I don't know. Why does he sound like a Bleach villain? I've never watched Bleach, so couldn't tell you. Anthony Capello has asked, is Heedley the master of Heed? Time will tell, Gamsley. Time will tell. Next question, please. Episode 13 has asked, are Xbox evil? What do you think? Maybe Microsoft are. I've seen it bandied around. Surely it's just the horrible side of business. Well, I sometimes ask Xbox people if they like Microsoft or what about Microsoft they do like. What about Xbox they like and what about Microsoft like, and where do you draw a line of separation between the two? Should you draw any line of separation between the two? Are Xbox evil? I typically think that the current leadership of Xbox, so Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and all the rest of them, like, okay, a lot of what they say is PR and not to be taken at face value, but they do at the very least understand what core gaming kind of is, like what it is that all of us like. And I worry for what will happen to Xbox if those people leave and their replacements don't understand it in quite the same way. Because I don't trust Microsoft to do anything right with gaming. I like current Xbox. And Brian, they're not evil. I think as corporations go, they've done some good, and they seem to treat people reasonably well, like broadly. But they're definitely not your friend, and I don't know. I wouldn't want Microsoft to be the custodians of gaming by any stretch. But I am happy with like a lot of the things that the current Xbox team have done and are doing. So. Replicant, you think that Phil is a nice guy, but also a ruthless businessman? I don't want to get into like nice or not because I don't really know enough. He's exceptionally good with words and presenting the right face to the right people, which means I inherently like distrust him to some degree because you know that he's good at showing you the face he wants to show you. But like I say, he at least does understand what it is that we want. So he at least understands gaming enough to be able to put on the correct face, which is saying something. If the next person doesn't, then we might regret all of these acquisitions, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. Alex, I don't see or receive your question on time because of my internet. You'll post your question somewhere else. Alex, I'm catching almost everything. This is not a disaster. Everything's going brilliantly. You're very confusing. Very confusing indeed. Episode 13 asked, are you excited for the Thursday show, the Thursday Xbox show? Have you decided on the topics and format? Will there be an Xbox related quiz maybe halfway through? I'm very excited for it. It's looking really good. It's looking really good, and Deadly, Headley and Gamsley are going to be great for the conversation. We're all on the same page and ready to go, so yes, I'm excited for it. In terms of structure, besides there being 3 people, Gamsley in particular has a lot of things that he wants to add in to spice it up. We're going to start relatively simple and then add on it over time. We do have some structure in mind. We do have running length and things like that, but some of it you have to wait and see and find out. And then things like quizzes. So Gamzee has a big interest in like historical events, like a little section to this day or this week in gaming or whatever, sections and things like that we'll scatter in as we go. But I think we'll find our feet and then build on top of it. Yes, very excited for it though. Next question, please. Gamsley talks well. Yeah, so does Deadly Headley. I've got good people there for sure. Froggy White asked, tea or hot chocolate? I have tea during the day, and I quite often have a hot chocolate in the evening at the moment. We've got a fancy hot chocolate machine that I sort of got my wife on Christmas, but I use it far more than her. So, pretty boring teas, but pretty fancy hot chocolates. Got mince pie hot chocolate, got Black Forest Gatto hot chocolate, got apple pie hot chocolate, which is amazingly nice. It doesn't sound like it should be, but oh, it works well. So, yeah, all of the drinks. You think Dave talks equally, right? Next one, please. Mocha for nighttime. Mocha, but like a decaffeinated mocha, or you actually have the coffee and the hot chocolate for nighttime? Replicant E, episode 13, being the resident Xbox fanboy, you're going to become an Xbox badger for the podcast. Oh, that's a good shout. A good shout. Wait, calm down. You don't need to shout. I can't do a Murloc. My microphone probably takes half of it out. Have you ever played around with Plex or Jellyfish? No, I haven't. I don't have time to watch enough stuff to play around with Plex. I am not saying that again. How do you say it? Is it more of a mocha? I've always just said mocha, but I don't order them, so it's fine. Now I need to think, what does it even stand for? What does it stand for? What's the mo? Shut up. This is the worst. I can't believe I read that question. It's not your fault, Froggy, but I'm going to delete this entire stream. That's exactly what I said. Behave yourselves. That's exactly ish what I said. Next question, please. Someone can explain to me what mocha means. Mocha, whatever you're saying. Mocha. You can explain to me what it means some other time. I don't care. Leave me alone. Let's do the next question. Like the pies, but with an M. What kind of pies? What kind of pies? What's the letter if it's not an M for the pies? Oh, mocha, like, no, oh, whatever. I see. Pucker, that's very different. Ah, there's no consensus, so we'll just go with whatever I said. Can you change the whiteboard question, please? Yours never came in. Oh, Alex, it'll come in at some point. I know what it is, Gamsley. I know what the drink is. But I don't know. Shut up. We're not talking about that anymore. Next one. Oh, there you go. There's an answer on what it means. Stick with the tea. No, just because I can't say it doesn't mean I can't drink it. Shut your face. Please. Right, apparently, Meta Quest 2 outsold PSVR 2 30-1 over Christmas. Again, not a question. I think this was specifically on Amazon in the States. I did see the stat. I'm also not sure. Was it Quest 2 or was it Quest 2 and 3 combined? Either way, it was like trouncing as trouncings go. And I take it as a positive that Quest has done really well for itself in that Christmas run. PlayStation still aren't showing that they're serious about the PSVR 2. So that sucks, much as I want them to take it seriously and put some of their big games on it and actually give it a little push. There is no evidence that they're doing that. So it's just Gran Turismo from here and forever. And some smaller games. There are smaller games as well. No, he doesn't mean his Discord questions. I don't know what he means. I don't know. I don't think he's actually asked a question. I think this is Alex's dry sense of humor. He's just... Like I was gonna... And actually, no, I'm not going to talk about the podcast thing. Let's do some VR games soon. That's what you just reminded me of, Replicant, with that question. We've done one or two. We've played a bit of Walkabout Mini Golf and we've played a bit of Dungeons of Eternity, but I need to get more VR multiplayer sessions going because that's nowhere near enough. Right, next question, please. Yes, Alex, if you actually have a question, just like type it everywhere all at once. But I don't believe you. I think you're trolling. Game or Pete asked, shouldn't we love indie devs more? The first I played Super Hot, I could see it wasn't perfect, but fuck, it was a great and innovative game. Better than the same old shit over and over again. I was with you until you said Super Hot. I still haven't forgiven Super Hot for the first trailer that they put out. It might not even have been the first one. But they put out a freaking hideously irritating trailer that got right under my skin. It just went, Super Hot. Super Hot. Again and again for ages, and it did my head in. So they got no forgiveness. Their game also turned out to be much more interesting in VR than it was in Pancake. So I should forgive them just on that basis, but I can't. The trailer was too... I hated it. I hated it. You just got a mouthful of milk skin. Oh, I see the skin on your hot chocolate. Whoops. Yes, Pete, everyone always talks about the indie dev space being where the real innovation is and talks a big game and supporting it. But gaming is just more... I don't like to use the word saturated, but it is. We just don't have enough time to play all of the cool stuff that there is to play. So a lot of good stuff gets overlooked. A lot of good stuff gets overlooked. Some indie stuff obviously does float and get a lot of attention, especially the stuff that does drop on subscription services. So I'm with you, Pete. All for it. Support the indies. Play lots of indie games. Play lots of AAA games as well. Don't miss out on anything. Play every single game. They're brilliant. Alex, you're surprised no Palworld on GeForce Now. It's probably... I don't know if GeForce Now has other early access games, or the more frequent like cadence of patching might be a pain in the ass for them. Plus it has only just appeared out of nowhere. No one really cared about Palworld until like 3 days before it actually came out. So caught people off guard, that one, I think. Next question, please. You're going to franchise a Starbucks in your house. They have like minimum sales requirements and things to do that, I think. And you'll have to sell the ham sandwiches. So you'll be making a lot of ham sandwiches if you do that. Painful Discourse has asked, will the new stuff be still under the Game On brand? No. No, it won't. It's separate. It is a separate thing. I'm not changing my name or anything. Like, that element of it isn't going anywhere. You didn't say you were going to work there. Wow. Legally change my name? Is it Arcadia Xbox? It's not going to suddenly be an Xbox channel, episode 13. Come on now. You know I'm trying to start a PlayStation podcast as well, and a Nintendo podcast. I like all of the things. It's Painful Discourse. I'm not going to elaborate on exactly what the naming and stuff is going to be. The Xbox One is the Xbox Series podcast. You know that. You know that. We've already discussed that. Next question, please. Is there already a name for the new channel name? There is already a name for the new channel. Yes. Yes, there is. Anthony Capello did not submit anything at all. It's blank. I just got a blank message has come up. So, next question, please. No worries, Replicant. You have a good night. Thank you, as always, for coming and chatting to us. Episode 13 has asked, please don't forget about Alex's questions. It's for the greater good. Episode 13, this is not a real question. Alex does not have real questions. Alex is playing a little game for his own entertainment where he just keeps on pretending that he's asked a question and leaves us all searching for it. There is no question. That's the joke. I'm pretty sure. Next question, please. Episode 13, will the podcast be on this channel? They will, but this channel will have a different name, but they will be here. Just stay subscribed and you'll be all set and good to go. Tom, any answers on the meaning of life yet? I'm sure we've answered that at least twice before. And I don't think anything has changed. So we'll go straight for the next one. If you've got your own answer for the meaning of life, though, please do let me know, because conversations, you know. Right, Froggy. Are me and Gaz having a messy breakup? Who gets the kids? No, we're not having a messy breakup. Go Live is still carrying on, and the guests that he had in mind for this week have fallen through. We've got more reasonable people coming on, so I'll be on Go Live this Saturday as well. There's not a breakup kind of situation. Game on Daily was supposed to be something entirely different and much bigger than it is. There are definitely challenges we can't necessarily overcome with that, but no, it's not a falling out or anything like that. You're curious who fell through? No, not more reasonable. That's not what I said. It was supposed to be a much bigger, much grander project. Particularly, I don't mean the YouTube channel. I mean more so all of the other stuff that we were trying to do. But certain things didn't pan out very well. And I've come back to bite us in the ass. It's not, that stuff's not actually related to what I'm doing with this channel. But coincidental timings and whatnot. Next question, please. Alex, just type it there. We can literally see your messages. If you have a question, use the keyboard, hear the letters that you need to hit to form that question, place it in the chat and we'll get it. But until you do, I don't believe you. Game on P asks, when episode 13, when episode calls us plums, is that good or bad? It's like... I think that's quite an amicable insult. I think that's good. It's not a compliment, but it's not bad. Right, next question, please. Oh, also, episode 13, that's probably a question for you, so you're going to need to answer for sure. You're going to need to give Pete ultimate clarification on whether he should be hurt when you call us plums or not. Episode 13 asks, please discount my last question. Oh, please discount my last question. Alex can go fish. His bloody jokes. Yeah. I think, and I'm still learning about it, but I think Alex just has an extremely dry sense of humour. And you have to be careful on what you decide he's saying in earnest and what's in jest. But I'm learning. I'm figuring out my way around. Next question, please. Indeed, Alex, I should believe you. Right, Froggy asked, what's my favourite kind of Chinese food? Kung Pao chicken, but mostly because I like the name. Noodles, mostly. Various kinds of chow mein. No prawns. What's your favourite kind of Chinese food? Right, next question, please. You can all put in whatever your favourite kind of Chinese food is. Spring rolls are Chinese, yes. Or at least we consider them that way. Who knows what's real and what's not. Oh, my drink. No one identified the music. You're not going to get it from this bit. It's World of Warcraft. Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. Froggy asked, do you ever get neck or shoulder pain from long VR sessions? If so, what do you do about it? Not really. I'm normally in like sufficient amounts of pain before I start that the VR doesn't make it worse. I get nose pain if I use PSVR 2. And I get a headache if I tighten the Quest Pro too much to try and stop it shaking for a stream. But otherwise, no, I don't really get neck pain from it or shoulders. FTW, that was your question. What was your question? I'm confused now. Froggy, you like onion chicken, black pepper chicken, and this stuff called peanut butter chicken. See, that kind of stuff, I reckon that's not a safe bet if you go to other Chinese places. Them's the kind of things that might be nice in one but not in another. Obviously you could say that about all of them, but it's not a safe bet like sweet and sour or something like that. You have pain in general? No, Froggy. I usually have a pain in my left butt cheek because this damn chair is so uncomfortable. I actually think this chair is responsible for me tearing my hamstring last year, which is quite sad. Besides that, no, I don't suffer anything in particular. My shoulders are quite inflexible, but that's okay. Chairs are expensive, Isla. Chairs are real expensive. Neck pains are more common when using the standard straps due to the neck imbalance. You notice the difference adding the battery pack onto the back. Yeah, I mean, I've used a lot of different VR headsets over time, and I don't particularly notice the balancing differences really. Like, some of them have... I more notice how warm they are, rather than weight distribution and things like that. You want a new chair, but it's very spendy. Yeah, they're horribly priced. Right. FCW, oh, I see. That was your question. Now I understand. So when I gave away the answer, yeah, that's what you said. That was my question. All right, it all makes sense. We've done that one. Next question, please. I also get a dent in the nose. No, I don't get a dent in the nose from the VR. Dent in the nose. That's mine. I own that. The VR just sits on it funny. Alex, I've been through your Discord questions, unless there's a new one. I can have a little check. Oh, did I talk about the Ninja Turtle game layoff? Will it come out? So that's one of the studios. There were two other studios today. The ones making that, I can't remember the full name of it, Alex. It's the Turtles something something game, but they got rid of like 50% of their staff. And the ones that made some other game that I was trying to remember earlier, I think Kotaku were the first to respond on it, so you probably all gotten blocked. But there was another studio that had to get rid of 80% of their staff as well, which kind of illustrates that massive consolidation in the industry is not the only concern, or not the sole cause of all of gaming's problems, because there are people being let go in the smallest of studios as well as the biggest ones, and it sucks all round. Last Ronin, that's the one. Why is it called that? It's just, it is. It's called that. You have to accept it. And I guess it's still coming out, but it sucks. Froggy, you have bone spurs in your neck, so VR can bother you. Yeah. Which one have you got? Which headset? Some are lighter than others, and like people were saying, if you get different straps that balance the weight differently, it can make a difference on how it pulls your neck and how it doesn't. So maybe you need to redistribute where the battery is. Or if you got 3,500 sitting around, you could get an Apple VR thing. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Terrible idea. Oh, Alex has asked today. This is it. Isla's gone and fetched it from Discord and pasted it here as well. Done that. Do think it will come out. Layoffs suck. Next question, please. Use the Quest 2. I have a Quest 2. I can't remember how it compares to other ones. There are lots of aftermarket straps and things though, so there might be something that would just be more comfortable for you. Isla has asked... Hi. Hello, Isla. Sorry for keeping you up this late. Episode 13 has asked... Is Pete the oldest gamer you know? He's 68, so does he deserve this much praise? He's the oldest gamer that you know. Legend. It would be like your dad playing Xbox. Pete's the oldest person I know, yeah. Never met anyone as old as Pete. So by default, oldest gamer I know as well. That's not true. That's not true at all. I'm trying to think. Probably the oldest gamer that I know. But that's a good thing. Yeah, probably. I don't, to be fair, I don't know many gamers outside of like here though. None of the people that I went to school with really, like that I'm still in contact with, particularly play games. My dad has played Halo and Flight Simulator. Literally only those two games. How old's my dad? My dad's older than Pete, I think. Wait. Really close in age. My dad's pretty close in age to Pete. FTW, your dad is 70, he wouldn't know what to do with a controller. I remember one Christmas when I was like a kid and I got a Sega Saturn with Sega Rally. Was the first time my dad ever played a game. And he seemed to hold down left on the D-pad right at the start of the race. Immediately crashed into the wall and said, oh, that's enough for me, and gave me the controller. And I thought he'd never play games again, but he did get through the entirety of Halo. Which was a surprise. I don't know where that came from or how he got into it, but he did. Next question, please. Pete is hoping for 69 this year. Wow. I wish you the best on that one, Pete. I wish you the best. Yep. Next question, please. She used to be a street cat. Your neighbour adopted her, but she has no concept of which house she lives in. So she sleeps in random houses in the neighbourhood. I saw... No, I'm not even going to tell you, actually. Tom, I asked for your opinion. Did I? I did, yeah. The meaning of life isn't a thing because we're in a simulation. We're just a toy for much more intelligent beings. How correct are you? I would like to know, Tom, are we all in the same simulation? Am I real to you? Are you real? How does this simulation work? Is it multiplayer? Froggy, your parents like playing golf games on an old PlayStation 4 that you gave them. That's nice. I tried to encourage an old guy to take up gaming. Isla, how old is Gary? And also, next question, please. He's around Pete's age as well. Oh. I know, so there's someone I know, a fella called Gary. He's retired from work at some point last year. But he's not enjoying being retired, so he's trying to get a job at the moment. And I suggested that he gets a hobby instead. If he's got time for a job, he's got time to learn all about gaming, but he wasn't very interested. So there we go. Not much of a story there. I think we ran out of questions. We have run out of questions. Your pops enjoyed Wii Golf. I guess that counts. My light's flickering. I don't like it. Yee. Right, so... yeah, we've reached the end of another show. Oh, Gary, yeah. Oh, somebody else has stolen your cat. Somebody else is attempting to steal the cat from you. Ooh, controversial. You're going to have to go hunt down that little girl and knee her in the face until she leaves your cat alone. It's the only way. In the meantime, that's the end of this week's show. Like I say, I think I'm like 99% sure that next week the show will be on Wednesday instead. But it will continue, and due to popular demand, I'll keep up the backgrounds as well. Yeah, what's the day today? So tomorrow, I think, unless I'm mistaken, tomorrow should have some Baldur's Gate 3, so still some games going on. Saturday has Go Live like normal. Sunday we'll have community gaming, we'll play all kinds of things. Then hopefully we'll roll into next week with some new things happening. But stay on the Discord and stay on the channel, and I shall keep you apprised. This is my best show still. I mean, it's currently still my only show, but I appreciate that. Thank you, episode 13. This is Isla's favourite show. By popular demand, it is not going anywhere. I will keep this show going, don't you worry. For now, have a wonderful night, evening, whatever the time is there. Play some games, do some good things, and I will catch you soon.
Asa, Game On Daily.